Well, I am super duper pumped. I have been meaning to use this thing. I don't even want to tell you how long it has been sitting. But I got this Mantis X10 Elite. And so this is supposed to help with like shotguns, bow and arrows, all sorts of stuff like that. All right, I think we use this one right here. Let me clear it. All right, now we got a firearm that's clear and a magazine that's clear. And now we have a box to open. So this comes inside the box. The box has a nice little welcome message on the bottom. A little hardened case to carry all this doodads in. You've got your little Mantis sensor. So it looks like the fit and finish on this thing is fairly refined, as much as you need it to be. And everything feels smooth and well done and well made. What I think is funny is a shotgun rifle accessory right here. And its fit and finish is garbage. You look at the little sensor right here, and that they took some care in it. Now, I'm not saying that this piece is garbage. It looks like it's a glass fiber reinforced polymer. I'm going to guess that that's a high temp resistant polymer, so it doesn't melt while it's on the end of your barrel. But there's just all these flash marks, just a lot of little flash left from the mold process. The mold, you know, they just didn't take a lot of care to make sure that these things lined up that well. But what's interesting, where it matters the most, on the inside where the barrel is, that they actually have lining up really, really well. So it's a little two-part thing so that this will lock in place every time the same way. I'm gonna guess that's for charging. So right there you got some, I'm gonna assume, rubber shims to put in there. So this comes with this little very high bond VHB 3M tape. So you can just tape that right to the bottom of your magazine or wherever you want on your gun. Generally, I think they want you to put it on the magazine if it's a pistol. It does have this screw, so in case you got a threaded hole in the bottom of your magazine, I guess, you can screw it through there. I'm going to opt to use these bore rails right here most of the time. Although you would use this if you were live firing. They friction fit in there. They're well marked, easy to insert, and well thought out. The nice part is it sits low, so it should not interfere with your sights. And you don't even know that thing's on the end of the gun. It weighs almost nothing. All right, and then you just take your Mantis right here that's gonna slide over that Picatinny rail. And if your gun already has a Picatinny rail, that's nice. None of mine do. All right, there we go. The fitment that has on the Picatinny rail is very nice, but you really can't feel any extra weight from this thing on there. I haven't read any of the instructions or anything, but I'm gonna guess this turns on, powers on right there with this little button at the bottom. And that if you have this thing charged, there's probably a light that comes on. So one thing you do before to hook this onto your pistol and start training, you gotta download an app, but you might wanna charge the Mantis. So I'm gonna go do that and we'll get back to this. Just gonna tap on that. The little green light starts blinking. That was super easy. I have not read any instructions. It's the first time I've ever done this or used this system. I really don't know a whole lot about it. What I understand this thing does is collects a lot of data. And then after it collects the data, it supposedly tells you what you're doing wrong. This is without me reading the instruction manual or doing anything. It's all first time go on this. But after practicing with this guy right here, this is not a fun guy to train with. The metal bits on this thing to continue to rack this slide back and forth really is not the most comfortable gun to practice with. And then I got thinking, well, why am I practicing with this thing? And really it's because I really wasn't taking this very seriously. I really thought most of it was just a bunch of marketing wank, and I was a little bit curious on how it worked. And I figured there was going to be some useful data in it, but I wasn't sure exactly how much. And is a training aid really gonna do me any good? And what I discovered was I was absolutely wrong. So after just a few minutes with this thing, I realized this thing is pretty cool. It does track your movement of your firearm. It tracks all sorts of stuff, not just time. And I realized too that I wasn't really taking it as seriously. I was just kind of drawing the gun and shooting it. So anyway, I'm actually going to start training with this one. I realized that this actually has some useful information, and I want it to be with the gun that I'm going to be using more often and that I'm actually carrying every day. What I'm finding with the Mantis right here is that it makes it actually a little bit more enjoyable. And I'm kind of rethinking what I said earlier. I love the option that this gives me, but maybe I do pick up another magazine or something like that. Maybe just a cheap Pro Mag or something as cheap as I can for training purposes. Then I can throw this on the bottom of my mag. One thing with the deep concealment, you're just not as fast as you are with an open holster. But that's okay. That's the reason why we train as we fight. And this will just make me better. Even I can do it, and I'm not trying to be self-deprecating, but I ain't the smartest cookie in the tool shed, if you know what I mean. And I can figure that one out, and that says something. The information that it's giving is actually real, trackable, usable information. The entertainment portion of it, as far as keeping things interesting, like after using it, I want to keep messing around with this thing, which is exactly opposite of what I thought was going to happen. I thought it was going to be a chore, and now I really want to use this, and I want to use it to help me get better and get back into practice a lot of skills that I have set aside over the last 10 years and just taken for granted. And clearly, after doing it just these few minutes, realized, holy crap, I'm out of practice. And it was a little bit of an eye-opener. I don't think this takes the place of shooting. I will also be able to track my live fire, which is fantastic. And then I can have a critique rather than me watching the video kind of cringing at my bad form. I just wanted to give a raw example of this training system. I guess if I was biased towards anything, I was really biased that I wasn't real excited about it. I really didn't think there was much to it. But that said, this thing really has a high prospect of working well, at least in my mind. I think I'm going to like this thing. I'm going to keep training with that tonight. I am pleasantly surprised, and in fact, I would say I'm pleasantly shocked. I'm not suggesting anyone go out based on this and go drop their hard-earned kopecks on this system. You do not need to have this in order to train and to train well, but it is a valuable tool, and if you have a chance to use it or to come by it, so far in my just few minutes of experience with it, I would say this is worth the money. I'm going to stop this video so I can start dry firing. Keep your stick on the ice. What are you doing, Bluefish?
Doing the red ribbon.
The what?
The red ribbon dance.
The red ribbon dance?
Yeah, watch. You do the swirl above your head, but first you do the figure 8. And then you do the swirl above your head, and then you go like that. Wait. You go like this. You go like a wave. And then you put it behind your back, do another wave.
It's pretty amazing.
And then you go like this. And then you go like this. And here's the wiggle sneak.